So again, welcome to Stone Soup Poetry. Without any further ado, because I did a long-winded intro before I press the record button, let's welcome up first Patricia Kerrigan.
Thank you. Thank you, Chad. Yeah. Busy schedule, doing housework. Spring. Okay, I'm going to read one poem inspired by the Scorpions, Send Me an Angel. Wisdom comes with maturity, but it's hard to be wise when your nation caters to avarice and ignorance. You never saw the storm seize the new year, and like the government, life shuts down for a struggle to thrive. Anxiety doesn't believe in social distancing, sends cryptic messages between you and your mask. You did your best, prayed for that miracle that fell prey to lies and deceit. Open your eyes, your angel left for another Zoom call. Stay locked in your quarantine, watch gray feathers etched in red, blow off the fire escape.
Oh,
Thank you.
yes.
Thank you so much,
Cool.
Patricia. And we're going to mute all again. And I'm going to introduce the person who I marked as second on the open mic, another longtime Stone Soup participant for us, both in the old and the new locations, every new location we've had, thankfully. And it's great to have him with us today. Let's welcome up Mr. David Miller.
All right. Thank you. So this is a sort of prose poem, and I'll only introduce it by saying that in 1978, I moved to Boston. So that's the intro. 23 and thereabouts. That was the year of adulthood for uncertain, which meant my wife threw her little body enraged against the door of the apartment below us because it was something like 3 a.m. They wouldn't goddamn gag their stereo because new city adulthood meant neighbors like that. Her small piledriver fists, the neighbors, didn't answer or open, they silenced. I watched. That was the year of adulthood when my career goal was to have a job. Wasn't it obvious, personnel man, what you needed was someone who could read, write, and poke a calculator. You had your vetted run through. God knows what pusillanimous riposte I came up with before I showed myself the door. That was the year of adult enterprise when I wandered among utility poles, taping broadsides, self-advertising my art teaching ideas for money. 10 minutes into this, the policeman informed me it was an arrestable offense, and I backwalked the route and took them all down. I cannot remember what I thought I could teach. That was the year when she and I made like adulthood because we'd already pulled up 2 sets of stakes, restaked ourselves at a newfound Roach residency. Firm placement as young grown-ups, so that was the bargain. We played at murderers with sticky traps, shoe heel pounding, paper towel wads smashed at countertops. Nurturers to boot, who left erratic crumbs and dusty corners for the crusty things. That year of adulthood, making a weekly budget equaled lifting multiples of 1 cent or 10 to a grilled cheese or bowl of tomato soup. That was 1 year of self-said adulthood when "This is your grandfather" arced from the telephone over and again. The zoologist's cleft chin, blue eyes calling from the lip of a glacial valley. There I was, quack grown up on a tack to scant and muddy mumming, and there he was, my Vermont. I was always already busy with something, as if he'd persist without me, that green mountain, that lake with seagulls, that life story with Shakespeare, Verdi yet to tap. More time another time, I thought every time. We were counting down his 8 years remaining, though neither of us knew it. Thanks. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Very nice.
I like that one a lot.
Thanks.
We're going to go to our next person on the open mic. Whoops, let me check something here. All right. And up next, writer, poet, and photographer for Oddball, among many other accolades. I'm sure I can't remember at this time. Let's welcome up Mr. Gentleman Galt. Ed Galt, everyone.
Well, thank you. My newest photograph is in the Oddball magazine, accompanied by a poem with Mark Parsons. He wrote the poem for that, and or I took the photograph for the poem. Anyway, this is from the last century, as evidenced by the fact that in the poem, I'm using one of those old-fashioned phones with a cord and all that. All this was happening in the late 80s, so seems kind of quaint now. It's called Selling the Globe. The guy from the Boston Globe called one night to get me to start a subscription to their paper. I told him that I lived in an apartment building and that people kept taking the paper. I had taken the paper for a long time, but had to let the subscription lapse as I could not afford to pay for a paper that I wasn't getting to read. But he kept pumping the whole fantasy of the morning paper by the toast and coffee. I was never up at that time on my days off. I never had my act together that early. I never had time for toast and coffee before I left for work. I always had to bring my coffee and buy my roll on my way to work. I couldn't afford the ebonyware, and what dishes we did have were never clean. But the man was roping horses for Jesus to get me to buy the paper. He had me on the phone for a half an hour. Finally, I told him I would have the butler send him something in the mail, and hung up. Okay.
Oh. Hey.
Hey,
Thank you, Mr. Galt. I gladly now go to our next person on the open mic. You might know him as James Masson from last week. This week, I think he's just Bill, but give him a minute. Maybe he'll think of another personality of someone else to be. Let's welcome up Mr. Bill Lewis. Something's going on here. Let me see what's going on with the mute. Every time it clicks. There we go. You're good.
Okay. Okay. There we go. How is my vocals? Can you actually understand what I'm saying? Okay. We all have our bits and moments and all of that, and I keep hearing all of these people on Facebook. They're always saying, don't go back to normal, don't go back to normal. And of course, I'm afraid that those are exactly the people who are going to go back to normal, of course. But then I got frustrated, so oh well, we do that. Don't go back to normal. It wasn't all that great. Stretch your wings and strive for glory. This is your time to create. Your buds will say, it can't be done. You don't have any power. They'll say, give up. You have no choice. You must obey and cower. They are the ones who have the wealth. They have all set all the rules. You and I, my little friends, are nothing but their tools. The only chance we have in life is to do as we're commanded. If you don't work like you've been told, you'll be fired and you'll be stranded. Normal is sweet and normal's safe and normal's how we do things. Now shut up your trap, get back in line and wait until the bell rings. You're weak, you're poor, you have no choice, you must obey your master. I You try to fool your fate, it will be a disaster. You have that friend who didn't go the way that you expected. They built that business with their friends because they were connected. You could have joined, but you did not, but you demurred. CVS was safer. Now they're rich and you are poor. What did you do all for? Now is your time. This is your moment. You have the power of life to invent. What will you tell your kids 20 years hence? When you had the power, did you have the sense? Did you stand up and work to make your life better? Did you join with your friends? Did you write a new letter? This is your moment. This is your time. Did you do your best to make your life shine?
That's it, man. Go.
These could be verse.
Yeah. Yeah, Bill. Yeah.
Bill's about to go tell some kids to get off their lawn. I just saw the rage and laughed. And okay, we are moving on to the next person on the open mic. Gives me great pleasure to welcome up next someone I thought was reading last week, but she's actually reading this week. Couldn't be happier. Nancy, are you there? Nancy Dodson? Uh-oh.
Yes,
Okay, excellent. It is your turn to read. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right,
A
then, ladies and
prayer
gentlemen.
from
Nancy.
A prayer from the animals great and small. Dear Lord, please no predators in my garden. I mean hawks, eagles, owls, and crows. They eat small dogs and cats, squirrels, rabbits, baby birds, and even human babies. The predators should not be in my garden. Every live thing in the garden is a predator. For the robin eats earthworms, the cat eats a bird, the raccoon freezing on a tree branch because a dog is at the bottom of the tree barking. The squirrel stops as you bring bird seed. The bumblebee tastes the nectar of the flowers. The animals eat tulip and daffodil bulbs. The creatures all know fright, and it becomes a usual thing for all live creatures. I want peace. There should be more survivors.
Very good.
Hey, Nancy.
Yes. Yes, yes, yes.
Thanks
Thank
for joining. Thanks for joining and reading us. Reading this week, Nancy. Thank you. We're going to mute everyone again, and the next person on the open mic. Well, it was going to be Jane's spoken word, but she just told me there was a pot boiling over, so she had to get off the phone. She had to get off the connection, so hopefully she'll be back. But now we can go to the much revered Carol Weston. Carol, are you ready?
Sorry, am I too late?
No, keep going. Keep reading. You
Okay.
begin when you can.
Stones of gold. The sand our mothers sat on with their mammas is the sand we sat on with our mammas, and the sand our children sit on with their mammas. Poppers of seaweed and pokers of jellyfish, we have splashed together inside the same pier steps and jumped from the same diving board, holding our noses over space. Some of us walked singing and solitary among the shells, filling our pockets with prickly urchins and stinking crabs. Sometimes we would catch our toes on thorns from the wild roses high up on the beach, or on splinters on the boardwalk of the South Beach. By mistake, we would brush against poison ivy on the paths, or running barefoot to a picnic on the cliff would step on holly. Then we learned to skinny dip by night in phosphorescent sinking of the sharks. Our bodies looked like jellyfish when we jumped in, and the sea bubbled like champagne around us. Coming out on the North Beach to see the fireworks, we came riding on our father's shoulders, and we shivered as we watched the spray of light and held our ears for the great bangs after them. And when they were over, we could hear the night breeze blowing through the grass high on the beach. On the way back, dazzled with fireflies, we were given one in the cup of our hands and allowed to bring it home and watch from bed its green light blinking through the night. It was quiet in the evening when the waveless water lapped along the rocks, their wrinkled tops covered with whiteness left by the gulls, and the water swirled with pinkness from the pink-streaked sky, and we would look at clean, white, round stones and stones of gold glowing up through the clear water. One evening like that, we gathered at the flagpole up above the beach and sang a hymn because the war had ended overseas. Coming down to picnic on the rocks, we saw a rainbow arched above us in the sky. We took our paddle boat and paddled, giggling at the water's edge.
Oh, wonderful.
Wonderful, Carol.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Carol. And now I'm going to bring it over to the next person on our list. He might be one of the only people who have ever to feature live in 2020 at Stone Soup's location at the gallery. I think that's a list right now that I can keep on two hands and leave two middle fingers up for 2020. Anyway, or take your pick. Add your favorite person here for this. But anyway, not you guys, not for you. You guys are cool. If you're looking at this on YouTube, you guys are cool too. Anyway, let's welcome up next, Mr. John Lane.
All right, am I unmuted?
You are.
Thank you, Chad. This is called Of Rot and Silver Bloom, and this is for Judas Iscariot. We coddle a time limit. The sobbing has gifts, like Newport shorts smoked down 3 times to filter. Then you turn on your candles. Lead the light to our spill out boldly. Cringe at the home door. Cringe only just. Retract. Just hold their moments. There the sons claim they belong. Crushed Bark Creek vignettes, laminating Whittier, clamped where could not rest a tranquil noun. Before that we wilted on a house-padded slate, cursed the stacked molassed woodpicks and aggregates of limes and gold. The shale crushes, though untested, a pendant door rust hinge, barring our way back inside.
Hey, thank you.
Huh.
Very nice, John. Thank you so much. Let's move it over to, is he still here? Oh, yes, he is. Excellent. So quiet. Sometimes I just miss him even though I'm looking directly at him. He's so quiet. Let's welcome up one of Stone Soup's stalwarts through multiple locations and multiple years, Mr. Eric Nelson. Keep the jazz fingers going, Bill.
I wrote this a long time ago, and I found it in my notes today. I wrote this in 1990, in fact. I was still like, not yet living in Boston. Sort of a ramble. Literacy is a predatory activity. In early days, you could only write on parchment. That's sheepskin. You could only write if you or someone else could kill the sheep. Still later, books are leather-bound and made with animal glue. Even in Japan, where religion dictated a more vegetarian approach, animal hair was needed for the brush. In reading, a person is surveying a territory in much the same way an eagle does from the sky. But we are removed, less direct than the eagle. An eagle can apprehend exactly the thing it sees. What we can apprehend is the name of the thing, and hopefully the name maps onto the real world in some meaningful way. We are depending on it to. An eagle does its own killing. We depend on others to do the dirty work for us. Someone else must do the job of making the written word be like the real world. Someone else needs to do the job of killing the sheep, tanning the hide, plucking the goose feather, getting the animal hair, understanding orders that are read to them. Ours is not a solo predatory activity like the eagle's, but a collective one.
Really interesting, Eric. Really interesting.
I'd forgotten I'd written that.
I like that one of the positives is that you're going back further into your archives.
Yeah.
All right. We have, looks like we have before our penultimate closers, we have one or two entries left, and the next one coming up is just joined us now. It is Jason Wright, founder, editor, publisher of Oddball Magazine.
Hi.
And I think he's ready to go. Let me make sure that, well, first of all, let me make sure everyone else is muted. I'll unmute Mr. Jason. And Jason, I think you're good to go.
Great. Thanks so much. I wanted to just read a quick poem that that I wrote. A little preface about the poem. It's an older poem. It was about, it's an activation warning about going, about someone passing away and then not going to the funeral because of your own fears of going to the funeral and feeling that you wouldn't have belonged at the funeral, if that makes sense, because of a falling out. It was called To a Dead Friend. My friend's cousin was buried in the ground the other day. I didn't go to the funeral. I couldn't take that slug to the brain. Couldn't take that sorrow in my veins. Couldn't take another day of wakes. Couldn't. I felt ashamed. Felt like they would say, he never liked you, and I didn't want that pain. Now I am sure I am dead to my friend because I couldn't say goodbye, because I was afraid of the changes I have made, the mistakes I made, the steps I had to take to be who I am, to be a better me. I lost friends. I lost many. I could have listed them all on my arms, tattooed in solidarity. You talk duality. I'm not even sure if I know what that means. I do, and I don't, but I know irony. Not saying goodbye to a dead friend could be it, because you'll never have an opportunity to say, if you knew me, if you really knew me, maybe we'd still be friends. Yes.
Very good.
Thanks, Jason.
Great. Great.
Thanks for letting me share.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jason. And we're going to go to James in a moment. I usually participate at least in the first round of the round robin. I do a series called Stone Soup Croutons, which are poems derided / inspired / stolen from every open mic at Stone Soup. This one is from last Wednesday's Stone Soup, and this is called Meat Market, another COVID-19 themed poem. Every job interview starts with whether you are willing to die. At least you can answer with your mask on. James Madison comes back to find his great opponent has been misquoted. It's liberty or death, not and. Everyone dies. Everyone finishes first. Everyone gets a warm earth patch. Everyone will have a hard, hard winter. Everyone gets more brandy. Everyone has to dig out their own car from the snow. Everyone is essential. Not everyone needs to live. All new job reviews depend on how you react to staring into new maelstrom. Again, masks hide aghast faces, but watch the width of your eyes. Don't go into metaphor about America. That is America. Cats and mermaids band together to survive. No new unions, please. Trees grow jealous of miles of stony ground grown more fertile. Time is hungrier than man, but man tries harder. Cold War cools down again. More carbon. Can't take it with you. Take it first. You get tulips at your funeral. It's all they can spare. Reopening takes glitter, glare. Best foot forward. Sideways past bodies.
Mm.
All right.
Yeah,
Yes. Yes.
perfect.
Oh, it's okay. Don't let it get to my head. All right, mute you all. And let's go to the last person on this first round of the round robin, and most likely the last one in the second round of the round robin. Did I say that all correctly? I feel like I'm saying buffalo, buffalo multiple times as a single sentence. Okay, let us welcome up next. And to conclude this part of the round robin, part one, Mr. James Van Looy.
Thank you, Chad. Thank you. And I was listening to people when I first got on, so I picked up this poem I have, which is from 2016, which is called Between the Devil and the Deep Blue Sea, which is a Cab Calloway song title from 1931, Between the Devil and the Deep Blue Sea. And devil actually is a real nautical term, between the devil and the deep blue sea. What more narrow escape could there be than the mariner named Seam the devil, that runs along the waterline its very self of that deep sea that has become so very blue, as satanic literalism finds ever more demons who, demonically of course, hatch new identities in the hothouse of incubator of the tiny village we made of this poor old globe that turns ever into itself. And, you know, all those cells so deep within all of us that they all want their right to be and to exist somewhere between the false choice of lesser evilism and the ever multiplying infertile gradations of identity politics, always just waiting there, like all the progress we've made and how great everything used to be when the devil was red and the deep blue sea had not yet turned red too, with red tides and those pesky invasive creatures keep the trade routes open and keep the Spratly Islands as simple tidal rocks, and Vladimir Putin singing on Blueberry Hill, if only we can keep the devil above the waterline and the deep blue sea in safe harbor where it belongs. And let me finish with a quick song. We're not the good guys. They didn't want to do it. We didn't want them to do it. They're not the good guys. I guess they always knew it. You know, we always knew it. They were so slap happy sometimes. They seemed so rad, but there were times, dear, you know, they were so bad. They made us cry so. We didn't want to do it. We didn't want to do it. We need some love, that's true. Yes, we do. Indeed, we do. Yeah, no, we do. Give us what we cried for. The brand of revolution that we would die for. You know, they made us love them. You know, they made us love you.
Good job, James.
Hey, or showbiz.
And to apologize, I had checked off her name by accident when I was going through the list and I totally forgot to introduce her. I was dealing with the phone call issues with Nancy and Carol, but let us introduce as the real closer for the first round of the open round robin. Let's welcome up Mary Jennings.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. Good, good. Okay, this is this I wrote a few years ago when personal responsibility was the big buzzword of the day. I guess it's still pretty much so. And it's from my my Love Child Ballads collection called The Ballad of Personal Responsibility. The Easy Life, the Easy Lie. The art of pointing fingers resonates with his self-interest, slapping the poison label upon the many who keep his machine well-oiled and cranking when they dare to ask, what are my benefits? The easy life, the easy lie, allows him to say what his father said about him. Never did a lick of work in your life. His friends are few and he keeps them afloat. They represent his fable of the self-made man, exchanging pieties of personal responsibility and pulling oneself up by the bootstraps while enjoying their shiny new toys and the blind loyalty and respect of those fool enough to call them role models. The easy life, the easy lie, allows him to think of his own starvation if he caves into their demands. It allows him to shake them down for their last cent, last shred of dignity, just like his father did to him, so he could be king of his castle, and nobody could tell him what to do, say, or think. The easy life, the easy lie, made him honor father, made him take responsibility for his dirty deeds, make him work hard so he could get out from under his boot heel and earn a lick of his respect, which he never got. Once he learned his father's strategy, he no longer had to work hard. Achieving the easy life, living the easy lie of personal responsibility that justifies and satisfies his paltry soul. Thank you.
Great,
Right on.
great. Awesome.
Thank you so much, Mary.
Thank
We're
You're welcome.
going to go to back to the beginning of the round robin. And we're going to welcome up first for the second time, Patricia Carrigan.
Thank you. Little things mean a lot. Slow and steady, the old turntable waltzed. Her favorite chanteuse sang, little things mean a lot. She never wanted diamonds or pearls. She liked it when he blew her a kiss or touched her hair. Little things meant a lot. A walk in the park, a love song at night, a glass of California wine. She would smile at dogs, feed the stray cats, let the summer rain soak her to the skin. Slow and steady, the old turntable waltzed. Her favorite chanteuse sang, little things mean a lot. But she was gone, and his grief had no place to go. Her cat kept time with the music, purring as she rubbed against him. He blew her a kiss, whispered, "Kitty, come to daddy." The summer rain danced without end. Thank you.
Hey.
Thank you.
Thank you, Patricia. And we're going to go now to Mr. David Miller. Are you ready? You're ready.
Sure, yeah. Yeah, this is short. Foolish skin. I now require myself to imagine this. New cleansed laundry, each naive sock and t-shirt may be freshly corrupted as my hands empty the machine. My hands have touched ambushing things, So many objects whisper, "Give me skin." My hands wave in naked ether, innocent in one room, pestilential in the next. Thanks.
Woo!
Thanks. That's it.
Thank you.
Skin. Yes, love it. All right. We're going to move on to the third person. The second time around. Is he around? Yes, he is. He's been emoticlapping clapping all night, and we appreciate him for it. Mr. Gentleman Galt himself, Ed Galt.
Thank you very much. So a short one here called Shooting the Turtle. I saw this turtle on the road. It reminded me of so many of the turtles in my youth that I picked up and took home. I thought I might get a picture. So, since the turtle wasn't going anywhere, not very fast anyway, I attached my telephoto lens, then got into position, only to be interrupted. "I'm sorry, sir. You can't take that picture," the officer said. Then he cited the Patriot Act.
Oh,
Uh,
oh.
That's great.
It's going to be a short round of short poems. I can live with that. That's excellent. Let's welcome. Thank you so much, Ed. And let's, of course, if anyone has a long poem, don't let me slut shame you into not reading it. Definitely read whatever you have for the second round. And now, continuing the second round, let's move on to the man of many names, of many personas. We lovingly just call him Bill.
Right. How do you like my campfire? Ain't that cool? Hanging out there, playing the guitar, smoking s'mores, eating. Yeah, well, anyway. So I was excited, and I've been stuck inside and COVID, and every now and then you just sort of go somewhere else in your mind. And I want a hippopotamus for Christmas. Only a hippopotamus will do. I don't want a doll, no rinky tinker toy. I only want a hippo I can play with and enjoy. I want a hippopotamus for Christmas. I don't think Santa Claus will mind you. He won't have to use our dirty chimney flue. He can take him in the front door. That's the easy thing to do. I want a hippopotamus for Christmas. Only a hippopotamus will do. No crocodiles, no rhinoceroses. I only likes hippopotamuses, and hippopotamuses like me too. Mom said that hippos will eat me up, but then teacher said that hippos are vegetarian. We've got lots of room in our two-car garage. I'll keep him there and feed him there and give him his massage. I want a hippopotamus for Christmas. Only a hippopotamus will do. No crocodiles, no rhinoceroses. I only likes hippopotamuses, and hippopotamuses like me too. I want a hippopotamus for Christmas. Imagine my surprise. Let's see. I can see myself on Christmas morning walking down the stairs. Imagine my surprise when I open up my eyes and see my hippo hero standing there. I want a hippopotamus for Christmas. Only a hippopotamus will do. No crocodiles, no rhinoceroses. I only likes hippopotamuses, and hippopotamuses like me too.
Merry Christmas.
Right.
Sometimes you just,
It's not July yet.
Christmas in July.
oh my. Okay, thank you, Bill. Don't know where to go with there. I'm still stuck on the line of a hippopotamus massage, so I am. We're gonna leave that line anyway. Let us move on to the next person on the open mic. I don't know if she has another poem to read, but I'm going to be polite enough to ask. Nancy Dawson, do you have another poem ready for us, or do you want to pass?
Wrote one poem. I'm sorry.
No problem. I will. We'll pass gladly. Bring two next time. It'll be great. But anyway, let us bring up next. She's up a little sooner than she probably suspects. Miss Mary Jennings.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I'm on. Waking up from confusion and inertia. In harried dreams, I am hurried. No time to mull over my mistakes. Moaning about them comes to no good, as if I'm hankering for a handout. I am only weary and praying for a way out before the dust settles and pronto. Oh, to walk upon the sand under the sun, instead of being pent up with the bed bugs in my wake. Waking up from confusion and inertia, I resurface. No need to hurry, no need to worry, no need to suffer. All that I have is sufficient. Thank you.
Yay. Hey.
Thank you.
Cool.
Thank you so much, Mary. I'm going
You're
to.
welcome.
Go back and let everybody know you're back. Great.
So we're going to bring us now to next person on the open mic. Carol, are you ready for us? Carol? Uh-oh.
To a friend leaving for the convent, to Mary. Together we crept into chocolate boxes and tiptoed across the pantry floor and dwelt in our rooms upon our latest drawings, letting our pictures darken the wall with solemn grace or brighten them with leaves. Your spoon was stirring in theology, and mine in poems. Sometimes we whispered in the night, and you spun for me the ladders of the saints, and you spread before me your bread and candies, as people spread their biggest crumbs before the birds. You told me of ladder upon ladder of holy intricacies. And now you yourself begin to mount the lower rungs. I feel that you are like the snow crystal, abandoning the manifestation of its beauty in blades to melt invisible, transparent.
All right. Thank you, Carol.
Good.
How is your recovery coming, Carol?
I'm going home Friday.
Oh, very nice. Hooray.
No, because I can't come to this anymore.
Aw,
But otherwise, it's good.
I understand. Well, we're glad you're getting out of there in someplace safe. Sometimes the rest homes are the hottest spots during this pandemic, so it'll be good to get you back where you're safe and sound.
Good.
Good. Thank you.
So we're going to mute you and go put you on to the next person on the open mic, Mr. John Lane.
And I am unmuted, hopefully. Okay. I just want to say before I read that I saw somebody come on in the middle of Bill's song. And I just thought, what would it be like if I'd never been to Stone Soup before and I popped in and that's the first thing I saw. And for me, I definitely know I'm in the right place. And of course, Chad, you're talking about short poems. This, I think, is the longest poem I have. This is called Ghost Chases. Occasional tiny accent trace. Your hand, the way it sometimes moves as you write yes. Or eyes that you smile. I told you this already. That I was reading a story about birds, thought of you. But you are not a bird. These small, do I notice things? Past quick days, modernity. 8 minutes total, sun in my day. Brief rain, a shower, abandoned bench, that wondered where you were and were you dry. Moments then over renewing me, who had hoped you had been rained on. You are reversal and constant. My ceiling, a ring, a text, a phone, your number, you. Quicker than our rain, thus the round chest iron band. In forgiveness, a good heart, to salve my wounded own. Sun today may be brighter where I see you.
Hey,
Thank you.
John,
It's almost a sestina for you, sir.
It's like a whole page and a half.
Oh,
Thank you so much. We're going to move over to Mr. Jason Wright with his round 2 of the round robin.
Okay, great. Well, I just wrote this while we were waiting. That was an older poem. This is a newer poem. I have been very reflective today, and I put down some of my thoughts. So here's this poem. It's called, let me find it. Reflections, Revelations, and Rewinding the Tape. There we go. I'm not a god. I'm not perfect, but I'm not worthless. I have purpose. I could dig into the extremes, the anger, the screams, the finality of it all. I don't need it. I've never been read. I've never needed to be. I write poetry. I play on strings, try to find the beautiful things. I've been so high. Time to take a look at the people as I come down to the ground. Realize the clowns I was one. I was an angry inch. I don't need to be. That's not me. To one friend I am sorry. To another I am no bully. To another I can do better. To another so many regrets. To another no more distrust. To another just my love. To another an olive branch. To another a welcome mat. To another a repaired bridge. To another a virtuousness. To another a solid stance. To another a helping hand. To another another chance. To another a lasting dance. To another a new romance. To another an avalanche. To another I skip the record. I say I can do better. I might be talking to myself, the one who has the lock and the keys, the one in the sky, I need you now, and the elder eyes, I need you now, and the OGs, I need you now, and the writers, I need you now, and your art, I need you now, and your music, I need you now, the ones who know more, I need you now, and the foundation founders and the builders, those who paved the path, I need you now. And to the new writers, we need you now. We need your truth. Tell us old souls and less nimble what it's like to be you. Tell us what it's like to hear your music. Tell us what it's like to see your visions. Where is this world? What will we leave you? What they left us? What is it like to be digital since the umbilical? A computer chip, a laser disc. Are you nervous? Are you ready to take your stance? Are you ready to take over the government and make it new? I'm sorry they gave it to us. Now we have to hand it off to you. Once you get past this pandemic, it's all a brave new world, a gift from us to you.
Well, wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Jason, we have a late entry to the open mic. We'll have him read 2 poems for his, to make up for his just barely missing out on the first round robin. Does your wife want to read as well?
Jason,
Are you talking to me?
Yes, Eric.
Oh, actually, no, it'll be all Eric tonight, hon.
Okay. If you change your mind, let me know. But for now, let's welcome Let's welcome past participant and newcomer to the new returnee to the open mic scene since we've gone Zoom, Mr. Eric Tate.
Hyperempathy. They brought this on themselves. If only they'd pulled up stakes after the or gone to ground.
Can you start again? Because I did an accidental mute all because for some
Sure.
reason I missed someone. But if you want to start again.
Sure. Hyperempathy. They brought this on themselves. If only they pulled up stakes after the first wave of dead or gone to ground and stayed there, maybe we could have eked out a peaceful coexistence. With a mind to make their demise as painless as possible, I used Prelithrin so they'd go belly up straight away. But as a colony, they're resilient little buggers, reproducing faster than I can kill them. So now I'm bringing in the big guns, the sarin gas of roach killers, boric acid, and it will be painful. And it could take days for death to deliver them as the poison penetrates their bodies and makes its way to their nervous systems. And they'll die in their hovels, their bodies dismantled and eaten by the others who will die in turn from feasting on their comrades' poisoned bodies. And it will serve them right for being so gluttonous and ravenous as to eat the dead bodies of their fallen. Still, I hate doing harm, even to something so selfish as a cockroach.
That's a great poem.
A second one for us, Mr. Tate.
Let's see, I was trying to find one here. Something I haven't read before. Yes, I was going to ask you. Yeah, let's see. Just a second. Still looking for one here.
Take your time.
No, I used to be a 411 operator, so I know about dead air. We don't like dead air. Let's see.
It's all good.
Actually, I just came across a poem about dead air. Mobile ministrations. Dead air. Silence is toxic. As a telephone operator, I could allow no more than 3 seconds without something being said to the caller. The reason being a show of good customer service, letting the client know I'm still there, working to resolve the problem. Lately, talking with Mom reminds me of those panic moments as an operator when I but recite the alphabet, count backwards from 10, anything to ensure there was no dead air. After a particularly long pause in our conversation, Mom breaks the silence by saying she can't think of anything to say. And it occurs to me, Mom wants nothing more or less than my directory assistance customers. She needs to know I'm still there, still with her, working to resolve the problems she relies on me to solve. She needs to know she's not alone. She needs to know I'm still on the line. She needs to know I'm not just phoning it in. Thank you.
Are you ready for me, Chad?
Oh, who said that? All right. If you wanted to do two and finish off this round robin, we got.
Oh no, it's just one. It's just one. Hi everyone.
Oh, I'm sorry. I almost forgot to introduce you. Let me grab, yes, let's have Krista McFall. We're back. She made her debut last week, and now she's here this week. So, thank you very much. And
Happy to be back and very happy. And
Hey,
so glad
Crystal.
everyone is doing well.
let me just mute everyone to make sure you get interrupted. Then I unmute you, and you're ready to go.
All right. All my past life is no more. The flying hours are gone, like transitory dreams given over, whose images are kept in store by memory alone. Whatever is to come is not. How can it then be mine? The present moments in all my lot, and that as fast as it got, crystal is a holy thine. Then talk not of inconsistency, false hearts and broken vows, if by miracle can be the lifelong minute true to thee. This is all that heaven allows. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes.
Double jazz fingers from Bill. That's great. Let's, do I want to read one?
Yeah, you do,
Yeah,
Chad.
yeah.
Yes, Chad, absolutely.
Come on, Chad.
All right.
Hey, Chad, wouldn't it be cool if you
yeah.
had a coffee cup?
What did you say, Jason?
Wouldn't it be really cool if you had like a coffee cup about like some of your like poetry on it or something?
Oh God, yeah. As a matter of fact, you're right, and it just so happens that, God help me, I do. I might as well do be one self-promoter whore, if only because the person encouraged me to promote it actually made the item. Let me get this up. Here we go. And what you can see up here right now is one of my haikus from a great year, the early tens of the 21st century, inspired such pieces like this, and now it's available as a cup on Oddball Magazine. If you go to oddballmagazine.com and search out their shop, you can actually buy this, and will more come? Well, I had some interesting relationships in the early tens. That's like between 2010 and 11, so I'm sure I will. I'm sure there'll be more. But for the moment, this is the one. This is the only one left. And if you want to grab it, I think it's $15 for a deluxe. You'll be helping a great cause, myself, and also Oddball Magazine and myself. It's shameless, but what are you going to do? But thank you for now snapshotting that and print screening it, and then just saying, "Hey, I got this. I don't need to buy the cup."
Yeah.
Well, all you did. Oh, anyway, okay. Let's let me figure out what I can read. I don't think I did a crouton poem last time, so let me get the one I did from the week before. Maybe I did. No, I don't think I did this one. So let's do it now. And this one's called Space Fillers. Yes, it's another pandemic piece. Okay, Space Fillers. Taped Coney Island train ad hunts for new war masters to occupy the beach. Technology limits us to call for snipers in anonymity. Must be alabaster enough to walk in between all infections, with a voice to keep crisis and opportunity marching in lockstep. Be willing to keep healing women out of own safe space, less distraction when trying to target a breeze coming through your house. Have ability to splice truth and fiction with bullets, leave both lying. For hippies to sort in one of their circles or cats to gnaw on. Are you willing to cheat at jump rope, even if you're the only one playing? Or step into a path of a city's forgotten people and cry out, who's next? In a post-carnage silence, we don't need New York to write a new tragedy. Virus needs to go viral, quicker than a cat video. We always pick winning side. Don't need open windows to smell rampant fire on this bandwagon. Save colonialism. Ignore women fumbling for song of 21st century. Dance floors just hold the patter right before the truth bomb drops. Is it a bomb that kills using the truth, or does it just kill truth? No time for personal questions. Endings don't end by themselves. Stand up and crouch down. We will not be caged in our homegrown prisons. Pretend survival pack is the daughter you used to carry everywhere. This coffin, a guest bed, or of the last person who offered to take you in, who you refused.
All right.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Good night, everybody. How'd it go?
Thank you, guys. Oh, I think, you guys are leaving?
Yeah, I gotta go.
Yeah.
Well, I think I have, if you guys are leaving, I wish you farewell. I think we do have a new entry here tonight while I was talking. Tony Brooks, are you there?
Yes, I am. Hi.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Oh,
Do I have to be seen?
No, I guess not.
May I not be seen?
Well, let me correct my mistake. This
No,
is Tony Brooks.
you're the
Tony
exact
B.
you're the
Hi,
exact
all.
opposite.
Hi, everyone.
Hello.
Happy Sunday to you. I hope your Sunday afternoon was good. Is church going well?
What's her? She's really good. She's really good.
I have things I've written down.
Okay, well, I'll introduce you, and if you got 2 poems, you can do them. You can have both shots of the round robin at once because we've already.
So excited to hear you.
I'm angry. Things have been happening in America.
Give me a
for
second,
a really
Tony.
long time, and I'm super angry. So then I just write things down, and
Give
I
me-
think this is a poem.
Let me just mute everyone just so you can go unhindered by any people shooting fireworks in the backyards behind me. So, ladies and gentlemen, the former poet populist, or the poet populist emeritus of Cambridge, published author, anthologized poet, and multiple feature at Stone Soup, as well as other locations all around Boston, Cambridge, where have you. Let's welcome up Miss Tony B.
Hi, all. Hi, everyone. I'm very saddened by what's going on in our world, the anti-Blackness that's out there. When ads show diversity at the institution, but it's really 98% white. When you on the diversity committee and a beach person's the leader. A lot of these are funny. Please laugh with me, y'all. They're so obvious, they're funny. I think this is called unwritten rules when there can only be one. Can never be a Black woman and a Black man on staff. That incites unity. Don't stop and whisper at the water fountain. You can't do that. Unwritten rules. We can't speak to each other. Don't even look at each other. When the only brown poet in the room does not look at you in the eyes, does not make you feel welcome there, because it's their spot. They were there first. There could only be one. Unwritten rules make room on the sidewalk. I don't even know why I do. Unwritten rules. Never, ever take notes in our personal meeting. You do not have to write that down, Tony. Why you keep looking at my notes, ma'am? Unwritten rules. My Black teachers told me. They taught me how to recycle, my Black teachers. Those were rules. And in apocalyptic times, mostly melanated people survive in the movies, and peaches still rule. Y'all gotta laugh with me, though. Y'all gotta laugh with me. Come on. This is how it is. This is how it's been now, and it's been different other times. This is just our now. And our now gets a kneeling. We can't allow the kneeling, y'all. We have to say no to that. So many unwritten rules. We have to rewrite them, y'all. That's really all I have to say.
Preach it, girl.
Hi, Tate family. Thank you. Hi, James Van Loy.
Hi, B.
Hi, Jason Wright and Bill Lewis. Hi, Eric Nelson.
Hello. Hi, girl. Preach it. Preach
I'm
it.
sorry, I'm just shouting out to people I see. Hi, Chad. Let's change America.
Hello.
That's
All
my
right.
ad for tonight.
That was
Thank you very much.
absolutely amazing.
Thank you all for listening.
Thank you, Tony. I'm just muting everyone now to get our closer for the night, and then we can all go home, or we are home actually. We can go. All right, we can cower under our beds. That's what I was supposed to say. Before we cower under our beds again, let us welcome back our penultimate closer for Stone Soup. He is the columnist for Oddball Magazine, whose weekly poem column, It's All One Thing, is published without fail every Thursday at 11 o'clock. Tomorrow is a special tribute piece and written in honor of Jack Powers, submitted to us some time back. I think this is the first time I've ever seen this, so we're publishing it tomorrow. And very appreciative of his consistent work over these last few years. He's 300 plus columns and counting. Let's welcome up Mr. James Van Loy.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So I have a crazy little poem here called Deep in the Ancient Regime Scenario. And the ancient regime, of course, is a reference to what led to the French Revolution. And here's how this piece goes. Deep in the ancient regime scenario. Like Bush and Cheney and regime, Trump, ancient orange head, and Mitch McConnell's prostitute judges, Reagan and H.W. Bush's former CIA director, who knew where all the dead bodies really lived. They were all sociopathic pairs, while Nixon, of course, contained both personalities of the pairs in one comic strip pen drawing of his bifurcated, compartmentalized, at once molten ball of reckless emotion and directed, even analytical, razor-sharp, always thinking head. And why else would we want to have a head that was the head of state? And there's a song that goes with this. Whoa, oh, 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 yes, he's a great projector, projecting what he can't do well. His need is such, he projects too much. He's alone, so no one can tell. Whoa, oh, 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 yes, he's the great projector, adrift in a world of his own, makes the game so he'll feel no shame. We left him to project all alone, to realize this feeling of make-believe, to real what he feels, what his heart congeals. Oh yes, he's a great projector, just a laughing and fake like a lord. He seems to be what he's not. You see, he's spitting his heart like a sword, projecting, but we're not around.
Awesome.
Yes.
I want to thank James and everyone else who participated tonight. We're going to meet same time, same place next week, and hopefully Alexis Ivy's feature, I think, is technically slated to come on sometime in actually mid-June. Or I think it's June. I think June, was it June 13th? Let me double check.
Oh, the day before my
I don't see us getting together anytime soon. It was either June 10th or 17th, but
Hi.
or maybe even 24th. But she is,
Hi.
but there is, but hopefully where there will be, hopefully there'll be an opportunity, because I know she's doing Zoom classes, so she knows what she's doing. And she will, and hopefully she'll be amenable to doing a feature that way. I might even set up a Venmo where we can donate a couple of bucks to her for her trouble. Hopefully more will be announced in the coming months. And hopefully we'll have more features coming up as time goes by, and hopefully we'll get a more of an idea of when Stone Soup will reopen again. Until then, I am going to be here. I'm going to try and work on other projects. I'm always working on Oddball Magazine. We're doing COVID-19 themed submissions. We're publishing them every 2 weeks. In 2 more weeks, we'll have more pieces. We're getting more stuff every day. So send your work if you see fit to. And hopefully I'll get another issue of Stone's Throw out before the end of this decade. I have 2 issues I want to plan. One is another COVID-19 episode, but before I do that, I had planned an episode called Aim for the Thoughts and Prayers, which I still have poems for. So hopefully we'll get that as well. So I think that's about it for introductions, for news updates. Keep reading oddballmagazine.com, keep visiting the Stone Soup Facebook page, and I will see you next time. I appreciate all of you.
Thank you.
I'm so looking forward to seeing you next week.
Chad.
Thank you, Chad.
everyone.
Chad,
Good to see
can I make a
Thanks,
small
everybody.
announcement?
Oh, you got an announcement?
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm on Sensitive Skin tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. It's on Facebook. I'm going to be reading with George Wallace and Peter Bushjager at Sensitive Skin, the Bee Virus Zoom reading number 10. So
Send a
I'm gonna
link.
be there.
Put the link on Stone Soup's page, and I'll promote it.
Okay, great. I'll do that. Okay, thank you so much.
All right. Thank you guys very much, and have yourself an excellent evening, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, Carol. Thank you, Nancy.
Good to see you, Tony.
Good to see you, Patricia. Good to see you,
Good to
Jen.
see you.
Soon.
Thank you.
See you all. Bye.
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 Bye.